Hey guys, welcome back to Ultimate SNS. I hope everyone's been having a great week. We've been out checking on our rooster and stuff today. Make sure he's still doing good with the hens. Everything is done great with that transfer over. So I'm gonna give that probably about a week, maybe 2 weeks before you would want to start actually trying to hatch any of those eggs. Just to make sure that everything's fertilized. He's had a chance to pass around the birds. So here's a little shot of our rooster interacting with our hens, guys. So on top of that, I want to talk a little bit about here locally. So on the 27th of this month, which is just a couple of days away from now, they are going to be having the farmers market over at McKenzie Park. So if you live in this area and you want to have a chance to having a conversation or something, I'm going to be out there and just kind of checking things out, seeing what kind of deals we have, seeing what kind of vegetables and stuff like that are even available right now. It's been kind of a rough summer really down here as far as trying to get stuff to grow. It started off great in spring and early summer, but now that we've come into the late summer, it is getting hot, hot, hot down here. So it's going to be nice to kind of get around and see what people are growing, because that's going to give you ideas for your local farmer market in your area. It's going to tell you what you should be able to grow yourself. So we know that okra and corn do great down here year round so far, but I want to see what other type of varieties we can check on. But so there was actually last month there was a issue put out by our county board or whatever, that there's a couple locations here that you do not want to be swimming at. So if you're planning to come down here to the Panama City area, you do not want to go to these particular two areas of the beach, because there are really high levels of bacteria that's usually found in human fecal matter. So that tells you there's some kind of a drainage runoff. So here's a little article clip on that, folks. But I hope everyone's been having a great week. I hope you're really pushing towards some level of sustainability with our quail and stuff out here. I've actually started trying to butcher out even more quail here lately, just because I've been getting such an abundance of them, and getting those hatched up and raised up and all. So we should be able to fill up our freezer pretty easy this time. That typically doesn't take long to actually dress out a quail, but when you have a large number of them, it can be a time consuming job, especially when the heat's kicking. So you want to make sure that you do that on a day where there's plenty of cloud cover, or maybe you're under a tree or something like that, and it's just not too gosh awful hot, because when it gets real hot and you're trying to do that stuff, you're going to start attracting bees and things like that because of the smells of the blood and stuff. So but if you're in this area and you're wondering whether or not you should do quail, I would highly recommend it. They do very well here. I've not had any issues in the winter or anything like that. You want to make sure that your enclosure is heavy enough though for these windstorms that we do get, or tropical storms even for that matter. But as of right now, looks like there's some stuff kind of maybe moving up toward the Gulf. It's hard to tell right now. Some of the tracks show that actually tracking off and going up into the east coast of Florida. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But it's also could very easily swing up into the Gulf of Mexico, at which point who knows what's going to happen. They have a tendency to really build up in that period. So I definitely will be keeping people in tune with that. So if you're local to Florida area here and you're along the Gulf state, in any of these states, guys, definitely make sure you check out our community tabs daily, because I like to try and post that information up over there. That way you can kind of keep track of what's happening with the storms and stuff, and that'll usually just be the links to take you to where you need to go to see what's happening. So on top of that, we do have our members channel, guys, and that is just a $1.99 membership. You don't have to join it. Typically what happens is those videos get released in the members area, and a lot of times they will eventually get released over into the general population area. It just kind of really depends though on the content of the videos. So most of those videos are going to be a deeper faith-based message, and they do not do well on this platform to begin with, but they really don't do well, and a lot of times they get a lot of strikes on them to prevent getting strikes and stuff for talking about God. What we do is we release those over there for the members. That way people who want to see that kind of content can. So but unfortunately you have to have a membership subscription, and the $1.99 was the cheapest they had at the time. So but definitely talk to anybody with the members next to their name. They have a little icon next to them, and hopefully they'll actually tell you whether or not it's worth the $1.99 or not. So, but I hope everyone's been having a great day. Again, man, with hurricane season kicking up, I think one of the basic first aids I like to try and keep is, not just rubbing alcohol, but also like your hydrogen peroxide and stuff like that. But you need to check with your doctor on the proper way to use that stuff. I am not a doctor, so you need to make sure that you're getting your first aid information firsthand from a medical source, a medical professional, guys. But make sure that you have something. Make sure you have, it could be anything from splints and stuff like that to be able to set broken bones and stuff. Because what we've seen down here during Michael is with the devastation in the storm, especially in these rural areas, it was almost like a week before we could even leave the main driveway, and that wasn't because the services were coming out and clearing the roads. It's because local people were coming together and grabbing their chainsaws and things like that, and we were cutting out the roads so we could actually get out and try to get into town. But even once you got to town, there was so many down power lines. We were having to drive to places like Defuniak Springs and even up into Alabama areas. So make sure that you have your routes set ahead and understand that your routes may actually be blocked. My recommendation would be don't sit down here during the storm. But unfortunately, that can mean that you can't get back down here to your location to make sure your stuff is secure. And that's one of the things you deal with is a lot of the looting and things like that happen after those storms. The people that hang back and stick around, they come in and they loot what they can from the people who actually left to get away from that storm. So always be mindful of your possessions and stuff. Make sure you don't leave valuables behind if you can. But really, the most valuable thing that you have is your life or your family's lives, guys. So you got to make your priorities as well. But make sure you're getting food, folks. I know when we go to stores and we're seeing these increased prices here lately, it to me at least, it's one of those situations where, it's discouraging, man. You used to go into a store and for $60 get, almost a half a buggy full of stuff. But now you're getting maybe 4 or 5 bags worth of stuff, and it's just doesn't seem like it's really worth it. That's why we start focusing on sustainability here, because the price of the feed has come up some, but not as much as like the main food sources and stuff. So we're able to start getting our chickens bred and our quail and stuff, and where you're having to pay $30 for 8 pounds of chicken in the store now. That's insane, mind you. That is just crazy insane. I mean, I can remember 10 pounds of chicken costing, maybe 12, 13 bucks. So it's a lot of times cheaper depending on the variety you're buying, but now it's like $30 for 10 pounds. That's insane. You can raise that up here for a heck of a lot cheaper. Raise your own chickens, get free eggs from that as well, and you're really going to save money. So I would highly recommend, if you live in an area you can do chickens, look into it. You might not be able to do roosters depending on your area, because they do have a lot of different types of laws and ordinances and stuff in different areas if you're out in more of a city type of a setting. So, but most places you can do quail, mainly because no one knows you have them. Yes, they have an odd smell to them sometimes, but that's going to be true of any kind of an animal. But it's nowhere near as offensive, and it doesn't weigh for as far as a chicken smells. So I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm going to hop off here. Got a lot of stuff to do. Got to run up post office and all that, because our postal carrier apparently doesn't know how to look for people's addresses. We have the worst postal carrier in the world down here. We really do. So hopefully we make some complaints or something and get them to tighten up a little bit. I doubt it though. But everyone have a great day.